بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم افتح لنا بالخير واختم لنا بالخير واجعل عواقب أمورنا بالخير يدك الخير والعافية إنك على كل شيء قدير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, tonight inshallah we will be touching on the same chapter as we dealt last week, tayammum. We stopped last time by the asbab tayammum. When can we make tayammum? Basically, we mentioned 3 conditions. In actual fact, some ulama has mentioned more than 3 conditions. When can we make tayammum? But before we start, inshallah, I want to make clear certain rules. At Islam, certain rules, and tonight, inshallah, I want to talk about 2 rules, inshallah, before we go into our lesson. The one hadith says, La darara wa la dirar. Do not harm one another and do not harm yourself. Do not harm one another, do not harm yourselves. And the second one is, now I'll mention why I mention these 2 rules. And the second rule is raf'ul haraj. The second rule is whenever there is a difficulty, then our deen facilitate a way out for us out of that difficulty. Hence, we have tayammum. If it is difficult for us to use water, then the rule will be we remove the difficulty and we give something in place of that, and that's how tayammum came into existence. You know? وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَاطَّهَّرُوا وَإِن كُنْتُمْ مَرْضَىٰ أَوْ عَلَىٰ سَفَرٍ أَوْ جَاءَ أَحَدُكُمْ مِنَ الْغَائِطِ وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you don't find water, then make tayammum. However, if you have water, and the water can cause damage to you, that's why I say, our deen have 2 rules here in the specific. There's many rules, removing, and the second one is do not cause harm to yourself. So if using the water will cause harm to you, then Sharia say no, don't use the water. Make tayammum. For example, if there's water in front of me, and between myself and the water there is some animals that might kill me, then Sharia says don't go for that water, make tayammum. If it is I have to go from here and my life is in danger to go fetch the water, then Sharia say don't make tayammum. So these are the excuses. When there is harm and when there is difficulty, then Sharia will say, listen here, even though there's water, but it's difficult to use the water, what we do is make tayammum. Are you with me? So if you look at everything, there's 2 reasons. If there's water, you don't find water, make tayammum. Second one is, if it's difficult for you to use the water, then do make tayammum. That's why the ulama says, even if you have a jabira, if you have a cast on your hand, it's difficult to wash, right? Then the Sharia say, you make tayammum. Are you with me? So there are 3 reasons when a person can make tayammum. The first one is faqdul ma. We discussed this last week, and I'll just run through it again. Faqdul ma, when there's no water. Are you with me? When you know there's no water in this place, then you can make tayammum. If you have certainty there's no water in the whole area of Ottery, must I go search for water? If you have certainty. Sharia says, no, don't search for water, because searching for water will be of no use. And Sharia will never command you of something which is useless. Okay? Second, it's the first one. The second one is when you fear for perhaps sickness, or there's a medical reason why you cannot use the water, or there is water. The second one is there is water, but but you cannot use the water because of a medical reason, or your life is in danger to use this water. Are you with me? Or if I use this water, my sickness will increase. Or if I use this water, the pain will increase. Or if I use the water, my sickness will go on and prolong. In all these scenarios, in all these, tayammum can be made and water can be put aside. Right? And then the third one, which we discussed last week, is when there is water, but that water is sufficient to quench the thirst of a hayawanun muhtaramin. The words they use here in the book is hayawanun muhtaramin. Hayawanun muhtaramin. So let's look at this. You get two types of. You get hayawan muhtaram, a person or an animal whose life is sanctified. Meaning Sharia hurmatud dam. The Arabic word they call it hurmatud dam. Sharia command us or encourage us to preserve this person's life. It's our responsibility to preserve the life of this person or an animal. Are you with me? We have hayawanun muhtaram. And then we have hayawan ghayr muhtaram. A person whose life, to preserve his life, is not our responsibility anymore. Are you with me? And then we discussed the 6 categories. Are you with me? And the rule is that every person's life will need to be preserved. That's the rule. Are you with me? And sometimes, I mentioned last week that we get different maqasid, higher objectives of Sharia. You get maqasid, which is preservation of life, preservation of deen. Are you with me? And sometimes preservation of life is given preference over preservation of deen. Right? Preservation of life can sometimes be given preference over preservation of deen. You know, in COVID-19, I'll just make an example of this. In COVID-19, we had certain rules is we must make salah in the masjid. But then the fatwa was given, because of COVID, what will happen is, it's contagious and there's a possibility of people dying. Fatwa was given, let's just close the masajid. So here, hifdul nafs, preservation of life, is important. Even when you find person is water, I need to make abdas, I need to make wudu. But this wudu, this water, can only be for a person that's thirsty, to quench his thirst. Then, even though I have to make wudu, but Sharia says, let's give preference to preservation of life over performing wudu. Are you with me? So you get two types of people. His life needs to be sanctified, and we have to protect his life. And then you get people whose life is not protected anymore. For example, the person who leaves out salah, he forsakes salah intentionally, he leaves out salah. You see, according to Islam, his had is because he have violated the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Obviously, this have to be done after certain things. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Umirtu an uqatil an-nas. I was asked to give dalil. Umirtu an uqatil an-nas. I was commanded to kill people. Hatta, until they witness, until they say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, tuqimu salah. And they establish salah. Once they do these things, then it's haram for me to kill them. But as long as they don't do these things, then it's permissible for me to kill them. Like for example, al-kafir al-harbi, we mentioned last week, that a person who's fighting the Muslims, his life is not anymore sanctified. It's not my responsibility to look after his life. It's permissible for me to end his life. Similar with the person who's leaves salah. According to Sharia, there's had for him. His had is yuqtal. Some ulama say, no, he's a kafir if he leaves out salah intentionally. Are you with me? Like Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, kafir. There's so many hadith. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the difference between us, Muslims, and the people of kufr is tarku salah, a person who leaves out salah. And there's other hadith, any person who leaves out salah, there's no covenant between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the ulama say, if there's no covenant between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then his life is not anymore our responsibility to protect. You with me? So even this ayat, فَإِن تَابُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ. If they make tawbah, and then they make salah, and then they give zakah, then they are your brothers in deen. Let's take the reverse of this ayat. If they don't make tawbah, if they don't give zakah, if they don't make salah, then they are not your brothers in deen. Then there's no hurma anymore. Then there's no preservation of life anymore. Then it's permissible for you to kill him. But obviously the tariq salah, there's rules with it. The person who leave out salah, there's rules. What are the rules? Is first you will ask him to make tawbah. You will encourage him to make salah. And not anyone can kill him. It must be done. The ruling must come from the hakim. Are you with me? So there is rules in place. So again, we mentioned last time that if there is a tariq salah, and after you've done this, all this stuff, and he does not want to make salah, can I make tayammum or must I make wudu? The answer is, I must make wudu. Understand? But if there's a normal person, a normal Muslim, and the water's there, and then I must give the water for him, and then I can make tayammum. Understand? In Arabic we have a ruling, إذا فات الشرط فات المشروط. I don't know how to translate this, but إذا فات الشرط, when the condition is missing, then that which lead to the consequences of that condition will also be missing. And I'll make an example. Then you are talaq. If the sun comes out, if a husband says, if the sun comes out, I'm just making an example. So as long as this doesn't come out, then the talaq doesn't fall. Just make an example. Are you with me? So إذا فات الشرط فات المشروط. If you come tomorrow to the masjid, then I'll give you some money. So if you come to the masjid, it's a condition. And the jaza and the consequences of that, or the reward is, you will get money. But if you don't come to the masjid, you don't get money. That's the qaida. In the same manner is, when these three conditions are not there, then we have to make wudu. But as long as these three conditions is there, no water, sickness, and the water enough for a person, muhtaraman, then we cannot make wudu, but we need to make tayammum. Is that clear? Is it clear? Inshallah. That's just a revision of last week's work. And now tonight, inshallah, we will do the shurutut tayammum ashratun. The conditions of tayammum are 10. How many conditions are there? 10. The first one is ayyakuna biturabin. It must be with turab, with dust, or it must be with dust of the earth. Imam Shafi rahimahullah, فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا سَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. So Imam Shafi, he makes tafsir of this verse. Sa'idan means turaban. Sa'id means turab. It means pure dust. With me? Tayammaman means tahur. Sa'idan tayyiban. Tayyiban means in this verse, tahuran. It must be clean. However, there is, Imam Malik says, so for example, if a person is in prison, let's say a person is in prison, so there's no water, there's no sand. What happens with that person? Can he make tayammum? According to the Shafi'i, no, it must be pure dust. Must be pure dust. Must be pure sand. Are you with me? But according to Imam Malik, he says, anything that comes from the earth, anything that comes from the earth, you can make tayammum with it. So if a person is in prison, so he can take the walls of the prison and he can make tayammum with it. Are you with me? But in the Shafi'i madhab, it must be turab, it must be pure dust and sand. Khair? وَأَن يَكُونَ التُّرَابُ طَاهِرًا. The dust must be pure. It must be clean. If it is mixed with anything, if it's dirty, now the question comes, how do I know that this sand is clean? How do I know that? Miskien kan 'n hond gepeet or aslan. Generally, our thinking will be that the sand is clean. Whether someone did something there and I don't know, are you with me? Then that sand will be clean, generally. Are you with me? That's the ruling. Aslan, in its origin, sand is clean. So whether I know a person, but if it happens that I know that an animal came there and it dirtied the sand, then I can't use it. But I know the aslan, it will be clean. So it must be clean. The sand must be clean. وَأَلَّا يَكُونَ مُسْتَعْمَلًا. Number 3 is the dust must not be used, already used on a limb or has been dusted off a limb. So when I make tayammum, what happens is, so there's dust, am I right? So I'm going to make like this. I'm going to put dust on my face. A person cannot come to my face and hit on my face to get the sand or the dust. Are you with me? That's what I mean here. It shouldn't be used. It shouldn't be on the limbs. Or I use this and I made this and then I scattered. Nou kom maar klompie sand af. A person can already use. Remember we spoke about water. We spoke about water that's been used. We cannot use ma'un musta'mal. Remember that? Anyone can remember ma'un musta'mal? What is ma'un musta'mal? Ma'un musta'mal is water that has been used for farad. So for example, a person took a farad wudu. Can I use that water again to make wudu? Nope. But if a person took a sunnah wudu, can I use that same water to make wudu? We still remember this masala? We did this masala? If het 'n farad abdas, it's a klein bietjie water, if het 'n farad abdas in die water val in die bakkie. Can I use that water to make wudu? No. That water is called ma'un musta'mal. Are you with me? But now I take a sunnah wudu. I just want to tajdid on wudu. I just want to renew my wudu, but I still have wudu. Can a person use that water to make wudu? Yes, the person can use that water. He can. Because a farad wudu was not done with that water. But the moment a farad wudu is done with that water, then a person cannot. In the same manner, when the sand or the dust is musta'mal, it was used already, then I cannot use it. So it mustn't be used. It's just third condition. The fourth condition is وَأَلَّا يُخَالِطُهُ دَقِيقٌ وَنَحْوَهُ. The dust must not be mixed with flour or anything like flour. It shouldn't be mixed, it must be in its pure form. Are you with me? So for example, the sand is black sand in its original form. Can I use that sand? It's original. I can use it. But the moment it's mixed with something, the problems start. Are you with me? So it mustn't be. Are you with me? Do I have tayammum? No. Yes. See. Therefore, if the wind blew earth onto a person in one, then passed one's hand over one's face and arms, the tayammum will not be valid. Even if you, so it fell no, dan maak ek so, my tayammum is still not valid. I need to intend that sand. Number 6. وَأَن يَمْسَحَ وَجْهَهُ وَيَدَيْهِ بِضَرْبَتَيْنِ. And he should wipe his face and both hands with 2 strikes of dust. So this is how it's going to be done. 1, I'll show it afterwards inshallah. And 2, a Shafi'i madhab. This is Shafi'i madhab. Other madhab say 1 is enough. Certain madhab. Certain madhab say also 1 is enough like this. Until here. But Shafi'i, the complete Shafi'i, there is dalil for both madhabs. There is dalil for both madhabs. Imam Shafi'i say this, I prefer this dalil, and it's more ahwat, it's more safer, and it's more stronger. Are you with me? So what you do is, so according to Shafi'i is 1 strike for the face and 1 strike for the arms. I'll show it afterwards. Other madhabs say only 1 strike. Face and then till here. But Shafi'i say till here. Okay? So, وَأَن يَمْسَحَ وَجْهَهُ وَيَدَيْهِ بِضَرْبَتَيْنِ. It should be 2 strikes. 1 for the face and 1 for the arms. Let's say arms. Number 7. وَأَن يُزِيلَ النَّجَاسَةَ أَوَّلًا. Number 7 means he should first remove any impurity. This is contrary to wudu. Wudu, if you have impurity on your body, you can still make wudu. Are you with me? For example, I make wudu, and then I saw some najasa on my body. Is my wudu valid? Is my wudu valid? It's valid, yes. So for example, I made wudu, and then I saw, hey, there's some blood here, or there's something here. Is my wudu correct? My wudu is correct, yes. In wudu, to remove najasa is not a condition. Are you with me? I cannot make salah like that, yes. But my wudu is intact, my wudu is correct. But in tayammum, you first have to remove the najasa and then you can make tayammum. Why? The reason is because tayammum, it is a da'ifa. It's a very weak way of cleaning yourself. Are you with me? It is in place of wudu. Are you with me? So what you do first, you remove the tayammum, you remove the dirt, and then you make tayammum. But in wudu, you can first make wudu, and then you realize, hey, I have najasa on my body. Does it break you? Does najasa break your body, your wudu? Can we remember how many things break wudu? Anyone? Can we remember how many things break wudu? Touching the opposite gender, touching the private parts with the inside, sleeping without sleeping like this. What still? When something comes out of the private parts. They mentioned 5, am I right? We remember the 5th one. It's not in our book, but we mention it here, and it's not the preferred view in the madhab. Anyone can remember? Say again? Excellent. Camel meat, yes. Camel meat, yes. Jazakumullah khairan, barakallahu feekum. Yes, but in the madhab, it's not preferred view, but what's the best? Take wudu. Khair inshallah. So does it mean that najasa coming on your body or seeing najasa on your body breaks wudu? It doesn't come under the 4, so it doesn't break your wudu. But here, you need to remove the najasa first. Then you must make tayammum. Because tayammum is a very weak way of cleaning yourself. And the origin of it is wudu. وَأَن يَجْتَهِدَ فِي الْقِبْلَةِ قَبْلَهُ. You should determine the direction of the qibla before commencing the tayammum. If you go in the footnotes, you will find that this is not the preferred view in the madhab. This is not the preferred view. So can I make tayammum before I determine where the qibla is? Can I make tayammum before Yes, I can. This year, to know where the qibla is, there's ikhtilaf in the madhab between the 2 giants in the madhab. They have the adillah, and the preferred view is that it's not a must for you to know where the qibla is. Okay?
You will find the preferred view is that tayammum will be correct if it has been performed after the entering of the time of salah, even before a person determines the direction of the qibla. It's the preferred view. But the best will be you do all this before, just to be on the safe side. Number 9. وَأَن يَكُونَ التَّيَمُّمُ بَعْدَ دُخُولِ الْوَقْتِ, and the tayammum should be after the time entered. Here they say he should make tayammum after the entering of the time of salah. So for example, salah enters at, let's say, dhuhr salah 5 to 1. So I cannot make tayammum 10 to 1. The waqt must first come in, then I can make tayammum. Then I go search for water, and then I go make tayammum. Are you with me? So, but here they say the preferred view is you can still make tayammum before the time. But it shouldn't be. You can't make. Why do they do this? Why do they say this? Because the possibility of the water coming in that time. And then what happens is, when the water comes in before you in salah, then your tayammum breaks. But while you're in salah, so for example, I'm in salah, and daar kom iemand aangehalop, and someone comes, there's water. You have an option. You can complete your salah, no problem. Or you can break your salah and make wudu and perform salah over. You have an option. Okay? But while you're in salah, and someone comes and is running and says, here's water, your salah doesn't break. Or your tayammum doesn't break. You can complete your salah with the tayammum, or you can break it if you want to, and then you make wudu and then you perform salah. It's up to you. Okay? And then the last one is, you should make tayammum for every fard salah. So one tayammum for one fard salah. For example, dhuhr salah, asr salah, for every fard salah you need to make one tayammum. Can I make more sunnahs with one tayammum? You want? Are you with me? So I make tayammum. I can make the 4 sunnah salah before dhuhr and the 4 sunnah salah after dhuhr, and I can do whatever I want to. Are you with me? But I cannot, even if I'm on a journey, I can't combine 2 salahs with one tayammum. Okay? Are you with me? So I need to make one salah, one fard salah with one tayammum. Can I make fard kifaya with one tayammum? Yes. So for example, you go janazah, dan go nog 'n janazah, and I only have one tayammum. Can I make it? Yes. Fard kifaya will be under the category of sunnah here, but as for fard ain, only one tayammum. Khair, inshallah. So that is shurutut tayammum ashra. That is the condition of tayammum. Any questions before we go on? Is the lesson clear? Khair, inshallah. Then we have furudut tayammum khamsa. The integrals of tayammum are 5. The farad and the most important things of tayammum are 5. The first one is al-awwalu naqlu turab. It is for you to transfer of earth to the body. Meaning you have to touch it and then you bring it to your body. You need to bring it to your body. You must transfer it from the earth or from the place where it is to your body. It's the first one. Like we mentioned last time, if it falls on you, on your face and on your arms, the tayammum is not correct. It must be transferred. It must from one place to your body. That's the first one. An-niyyah. The second one is, so you transfer and then you say your niyyah. You transfer and then you say your niyyah. Remember, sequence is very important. So I hit here. Now as I bring close, where do I say my niyyah? We always mention this. When you do your first action, washing your face, wiping your face. Okay?
So there's some masail with regards to niyyah also. If I make niyyah for salah, what niyyah do I make? See, I do not make raf'ul hadath. I make nawaitu atayammamu li istibahati salah. The word is li istibahati salah. I make tayammum to make salah permissible for me. Let's go back to, if I'm in a state of janaba or I don't have wudu, is it permissible for me to make salah? It's haram. Right? It's haram. We mentioned this 3-4 weeks ago. Things that's haram for a person who does not have wudu, things that's haram for a person who's in a state of janaba, things that's haram for a person who is in hayd and nifas. Remember that? Different categories. 4, then 6, then 10. Remember that? Yeah. So I cannot make salah. But if I make tayammum, I make salah permissible for me. And that's why we make nawaitu atayammamu li istibahati salah. I make tayammum to make salah permissible. You can only make salah with that. Are you with me? And the other stuff. So if I make tayammum to read the Quran, are you with me? Can I make salah with that tayammum? Nope. Are you with me? You're going to make tayammum for that which you are doing, and anything that falls under that can go under that. Khair? Al-Thalith. The third one is wiping of the face. الرابع مسح اليدين إلى المرفقين, to wipe the arms or the hands including the elbows. And then the last one is الترتيب بين المسحتين, to have the following sequence between the both wipings. You cannot wipe your arms first and then your face. So first your face and then your arms. So let's see, how do we do the sunnah tayammum? I'll try to show inshallah. Okay. So first you will determine where you will make tayammum. Okay? So now you spread out your fingers. Okay? So we said how many heatings are we having? How many strikes we have? 2. So the first strike is, then the ulama say, takhfiful, the takhfif, you dust off the extra dust. And then you start from on top here. And then like here. You don't have to go inside or in here or whatever. Wherever there's hair, you don't have to go inside. You can just wipe over it. That's the first heating. The second heating should be immediately after it. Look at my hands. I want you to look at my hands. So this part you use for the back. Okay? And then this part you come here. Okay? And the second one is the same until both the thumbs meet. You got it? Okay? I'll do it again inshallah. Face. Now face. My first hand. Okay, inshallah. I start with my right mouth. I start with my right. So this part for the back and this part for the inside. Go down. Go to here. And then like this. It mustn't touch. It mustn't touch. Remember, it mustn't touch yet. Only when you do the last thing, then you can touch. Because this hand needs to be, this dust needs to be used for this arm. And then I go again. And then it can touch. Then you can make like that. Okay, that is what we call tayammum. Okay? Any questions there? Some ulama say we can make tayammum like this. Finish. But some ulama, they have the adillah, one heating for both hands. Shafi'i say, listen here, there is hadith, and there is hadith that mention that
ضربة للوجه وضربة لليدين. And I've showed you how it's done. Okay? Then the last part of our lesson is مبتلات التيمم ثلاثة. The factors that nullify tayammum are three. What breaks tayammum? What breaks tayammum? Here they mention three. ما أبطل الوضوء. Those things which nullifies the ablution. I just mentioned it now before this. How many things are there that nullifies the ablution? Anyone? Without the last one. Four. Am I right? Everything that comes from the sabilain, from the private parts. It's the first one. The second one is when touching a ajnabiyya, غير mahram, opposite gender, without a ha'il, without a barrier, skin to skin, breaks wudu. Number two. Number three is touching the private part with the inside, and we discuss what is the private part. And then number four is sleeping غير متمكن, sleeping in a position other than this position that I'm sitting here, with the buttocks are firm to the earth or to the ground. Are you with me? These things. So if you do that, then your tayammum breaks. So everything that breaks the wudu breaks the tayammum. Number two, ar-ridda, apostasy. Apostasy is when a person leaves the fold of Islam, he becomes a murtad, then his tayammum breaks. When a person becomes a murtad, his tayammum breaks. And then number three is وَتَوَهُّمُ الْمَاءِ in tayammum, presumption that one can now obtain water in the case where tayammum was made due to lack of water. So if I make tayammum because of no water, I think, there's water. You know what I mean? Water is coming. This is outside salah. As I mentioned, when you're inside salah, then your tayammum is still intact. And you have an option to leave your salah, or you can continue with salah. But I'm talking about before salah or after salah. I'm talking about this in these cases. Before salah, before you make salah, and then there's presumption, there is tawahum, there is, okay, I think there's water. There is, maybe under my bed, there's a 5-liter water or something like that. You're thinking, then your tayammum breaks. Okay? But while you're in salah, I mentioned, you have an option. Okay? This will apply even if one sees a mirage, thinking of water to be in front of him. You see, there's a water, then your tayammum breaks. But it will not break if something prevents usage of the water for wudu. For example, one sighted the water, but it is only sufficient for drinking, or an animal prevents, or an enemy or animal prevents one from acquiring it. Are you with me? As mentioned before, if there is all these conditions, then tayammum is not, then we make tayammum. Again, from the beginning of the class. If we look at the whole chapter, it tells us, Raf'ul Haraj, that Islam's remove any difficulty. If there is difficulty, then Islam says, okay, there's a way out for you. With me? Like for example, we call this normally a rukhsa. We call this a rukhsa. In Islam you have azima and you have rukhsa. The standard rule and the substitute for that rule. Something that's created to subsidize that rule because of a difficulty. It's rukhsa and azima. Azima is the original rule and rukhsa is that in place of. Like for example in the Quran, if for example it happened, I'll create a scenario for you. Gevlieg met die plane. The plane crash. Now there's only khinzir, or there's human flesh to eat. Are you with me? Now I have a ramaq. Ramaq means ek is op my laaste. But
normally it is haram for you to eat these things. Or there's an animal that died, natural, or dood te gaan, geval. We cannot eat this animal. Am I right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَالنَّطِيحَةُ وَمَا أَكْلَ السَّبْعُ. It comes in the fifth juz, all these animals that we cannot eat. The animal died because he fell down. We cannot eat it. But now in this case, can I eat it? It's permissible. Islam says, yes, eat it. Some ulama say also it's wajib for you to eat to save your life. Okay? So that's what we call a rukhsa. So there's always a way out for us. And here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made a way out. So there's raf'ul haraj, remove the difficulty that the person is in. If there's a difficulty, then deen makes a way for you. جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجْ مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Allah has not made this deen difficult for you. There's always something for you. And this deen has come here to accommodate every individual. If you cannot make salah standing, you cannot make salah sitting. If you cannot make salah sitting, make salah lying. If you cannot make salah lying, use your eyes, indicate. But there's always a way out for you. Always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made accommodate for everyone. So here the ruling is raf'ul haraj, to remove the difficulty. And number two is la darara wa la dirar. When there's harming someone or harming yourself, then Islam will make a way out for you. And Islam says, listen here, don't harm yourself and do not harm any other person. Mm-mm. Okay. Okay, so I think the question is, how do I make now? I need to make a ghusl. Right? Okay, so tayammum is a substitute for ghusl and wudu. So same tayammum that you take for wudu will be the same tayammum for ghusl. There was a story in the time of Sahaba radiallahu anhu, a story that a person he needed ghusl. So what he did is he laid down in the sand and just rolled there in the sand to make tayammum. And then the Prophet said, no, that's not how you do it. The same tayammum that you take for wudu will be the same tayammum for ghusl. So you will make the same thing. The niyyah will be, the only difference will be the need. It will be one tayammum, yes. It will be one tayammum. Khair? Do you mean tayammum for? Okay. No, you must take tayammum likulli fardin salah. Yeah, they say tayammum for every salah. Yes. Because it's going to be the same procedure. It will be exactly the same. Are you with me? It will be exactly the same. There's no difference. Okay. So I'm still going to need wudu, right? With me? So it's going to be the same tayammum. Okay. Any other question? So tayammum is in place of ghusl and wudu. You don't have to go roll in the sand and make the whole body full of sand. And then there's a masala I want to discuss. I don't think we have enough time, inshallah. I hope we will discuss it next week, inshallah. The masala of jabira. Jabira, a masalatul jurh. And the masala of a cast or a bandage on the person's hand or person's plane, inshallah. There's so many details to be explained in this masala, inshallah. So I hope that we can leave it for next week, inshallah, and then we can discuss it more in detail on when will a person make i'adatul salah, to repeat salah. Okay? With me? But there is, as I mentioned, there is a call of Imam Malik. You find, normally we have faqidut tahurain. Anyone knows this term, faqidut tahurain? Faqid means missing, tahurain means the two things that you can clean yourself with. There's no water and there's no sand or dust. How does a person do now?
Are you with me? And I mentioned, like a person is in prison, no water, there's no dust. In other madhab, our madhab, this is not a call, but as mentioned, if there's some difficulty, we go to the other madhab. But there is a substitute in our own madhab. We call this faqdu tahurin, a person who's in need of both. He does not find tayammum, he cannot make tayammum, or he cannot make wudu. What do you do? You make salah and then you repeat the salah. Okay? But in the Maliki madhab is you can make tayammum on the wall of the prison or wherever, and then you can make the normal tayammum. But in the Shafi'i, you must only make tayammum with turabun, tahirun or tahurun, clean dust or clean the soul, inshallah. Any other questions? نكتفي بهذا إن شاء الله. Okay, can I ask questions, inshallah? There's I have a vicious dog in front of me in my house. I only have a little water to make it's a little water. Do I quench, and he's thirsty, do I quench the thirst of the animal, or do I make wudu? What do I do? Tayammum, wudu, quench the thirst of the animal. Anyone can tell me that? Make wudu. It's a vicious animal. The animal I do it, Mark. The animal is terrible. Do we make wudu? I make wudu, yes. I don't make tayammum. That's why we said حيوان غير محترم. How much is it? ستة. And one of it, الكلب العقور, the vicious dog. If there's a khinzir, there's a pig, my life is not threatened. I'm not in danger when there's a pig. Do I give the water to the pig, or do I make wudu? Huh? But my life is not in danger with this animal. It's unworthy of it. Why? Why is he unworthy? La man'a fihi. There's no benefit in that animal. Okay? There's no benefit for us Muslims in the animal. Okay? It is one of the most despicable, or can I say, animals that is filthy, and there's no benefit for Muslim in it. And then, again, my last question, inshallah. Tariqus salah. A person who leaves salah. As I give him, he's a Muslim. I told him, make salah, my brother. You don't want to make salah. The hakim said, this person is yuqtal haddan. He will be killed haddan. Do I make wudu, or do I make tayammum? Make tayammum, make wudu. Make wudu, yes. Because we have certain people whose life needs to be protected. Hurmatud dam, protection of life. And we have ghayr hurmatud dam, where people's life is not protected. This person has violated the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have given all the adillah of hadith, Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about these people who leave out salah. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ. All these. فَإِن تَابُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أُقَاتِلَ النَّاسِ. All these adillah shows that tariqus salah is غير حرمة الدم. His life is not any more sanctified. Are you with me? I'm not saying that we have to implement this in South Africa. It should be done in a Muslim state, and it must come from the hakim. You cannot go now to a person who does not make salah and listen here, yes, no. It must be done with the right channels, with the right rules, inshallah. Khair? Any other questions? Listening? When you make? Yes.
The question is, when you make wudu, you wash all the different parts, am I right? By tayammum, we only wash, let's not say wash, we only wipe the wajh, the face, and the arms. Okay? There's no feet. Even if you do the feet, it's not permissible for you to do the feet because you cannot aid in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deen what you want to. It is established according to Sharia that this is how it's supposed to be done. And there is also sunnahs of tayammum. One of the sunnahs of tayammum is when you use this, you make it like this, and do not try to make more strikes. Stick to 2 strikes, inshallah. And everything that you can do in wudu, try to do it with the sunnahs, but not tathleed. Tathleed means don't wipe your face 3 times. Okay? Not your feet or so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, A'udhu billah, all the adiyas and all this stuff can be done. Okay? Any other questions? Inshallah, so alhamdulillah we can make tayammum now, inshallah, when we don't have water, inshallah. But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always provide water for us, inshallah. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursalin, walhamdulillah.